Boy Bizarre from D12.
Yo, what's good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh.
Hey, Redman is in the building. You already know.
Hey guys, this is Emily Peachy.
Shout out, man, to Worldwide Collaborations, man.
I want to shout out Worldwide Collaborations, LLC.
Shout out to the Worldwide Collaborations, LLC.
World movement, beyond thousands of movements.
The world movement, beyond thousands of movements.
All about representing each other together. So check this out.
What's up? You want to be a part of this? You want to be a part of the Worldwide Collaboration?
You guys should all be a part of Worldwide Collaboration.
Worldwide Collaborations, LLC. Check us out, man, and check what's going on, man. Word up. I have recently been choosing to be a spokesman and an ambassador, so you will see a lot more of me. Join the movement, man. It's beyond thousands of movements right now and talents put together, all about representing each other together.
I want to join, so I might see you there. All right, much success.
This is a worldwide collaboration song.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another star-studded episode of the Chatterbox with King Jacob. I'm your host for this evening. I'm King Jacob, and today I have my brothers joining me, Icon E and JJ the Exec. What's happening, fellas?
What's cracking? What happened?
Well, everything is happening. It's Monday, motivational Mondays, mindful Mondays, money-making Mondays, all that good stuff.
Oh, I like the sound of that. What was that last one? One more time for me.
Money-making Mondays.
Okay. Motivational and money. I like them two M's right there.
Yes, sir. So, man, today we're going to be talking about the importance of customer service and why it's so important. So, before we talk about that, man, I just want to say, man, I'm just so disappointed when I go to a restaurant and the kids is on their phone. They talking about what happened at the pool party, and you say I don't want no ketchup on my burger, and the burger got ketchup on both sides of the bun. You like, oh Lord have mercy. So, but that I know when I was growing up and got into the workforce, they had customer service training, a customer service class. And so I don't know what happened. So, man, we're going to get into this topic, the importance of customer service. So I'll let one of you guys start it off, and we'll just vibe and feed off one another. So who would like to start off the conversation on why it's so important?
Well, I mean, I thought the thing about customer service is it sets the tone for the whole restaurant. It sets the tone for how your day will go. People don't understand, like, when you walk in, like, I've been in management in restaurants since I was like 15 years old up until I was probably, almost dang near 40 off and on. And basically the way you come in that restaurant every day, you set the tone, and when by the time the customers walk in, it's just like being a coach of a football or basketball team. You have to set the tone how your employees treat each other, how they treat the customers, how they treat you. And so that, to me, basically makes the day go by easier and better, and then it makes the customers feel a certain kind of way. That's why Chick-fil-A has been like the #1 restaurant when it comes to customer service, over the last several years, because you could just feel the energy is different when you walk into a Chick-fil-A than when you walk in a McDonald's or a Burger King or something. So that's kind of what I kind of feel about it.
That's true, but in all aspects of customer service, whether it's a restaurant, even if it's like a Planet Fitness, or even if it's at like a nursing home or hospital, or even if you have customer service skill and you're in the tech industry, or you're in real estate, or it just, or whether you work in the call center, you got the Q&A calls, you got the quality control calls, and the quality control calls and the Q&A calls are just to see what your customer service skills like, to see if you make the customer feel comfortable while they're spending their money. because they're giving you a credit card or a bank card over the phone. And so you got to make them feel comfortable as possible. And so what has happened to the importance of employers, having those customer service trainings, having those Q&A trainings, having those trainings of being a retention specialist, being an upseller. That all, travels into the customer service arena. And so what is happening to employers that was so big on customer service, and now it seems like they just put anybody in a position. So why do you guys think that is?
Well, you know what? Like, Icon and you both spoke from the restaurant perspective. I think one of the good things that you brought up, King Jacob, when you brought up call center aspects and different things. I've been in management and retail and customer as well as call centers, from building whole call centers, having my own call center, building quality apartments, training apartments, and things like that. One of the things I think it is, first and foremost, customer service gives you a competitive advantage as a business owner. If you look at some of the top companies like Icon mentioned, you look at a Chick-fil-A, you look at when you go into an Apple store, you know what I mean? You look at when you go to certain shoe stores and different things like that, and that stands out as far as how you're treating the customers. And as well, it makes it a better work environment for the employees as well, because you establish a relationship with your customers. Then you start going into customer retention and keeping a consistent basis of customers. Now you're getting referrals, mouth to mouth referrals, person to person. Look, go to this store. This person will take care of you. This representative got you back. And I think what's happened is nowadays, especially with turnover in call centers, the cost to train each representative, sometimes they don't look at that because they got to pump more in because so many people are coming in and leaving, because they don't want to deal with all the amount of calls they have to take. They don't want to deal with the customers' issues and problems. They just look at it as just a job. They're not looking at it as actually having empathy and caring and understanding and what it is to be on the other side and seeing it from the customer's perspective. And that's just in general right now in our world. We don't have enough empathy for each other. So that's going to carry over when it comes to business and dealing with each other from a business perspective. Like, I've always taught people when I'm in a call center, when I'm training, look at it as if that was your brother, if that was your mother, if that was your son, or if it was you in that situation. How would you feel and how would you handle it? You have to understand that dynamic. Until we learn to understand each other, then customer service is going to keep failing too. And then these kids are coming in, like you said, these stores, especially in the beginning when they first come into business and come into the working world and working population, they're not getting that initial customer service training. Like you said, like Ed, like Icon, and like you and myself. When we first came into our first jobs, I don't know about y'all, I had to shadow a manager. Then I had to shadow someone who was in my position. Then I had to shadow someone who was the next step above me to understand all the dynamics and understand it and how to handle customers and how to handle customer complaints and escalations. And the first thing we used to always taught, was always that saying, the customer is always right. I don't necessarily agree with that, but what it means is the customer comes first. You have to have an understanding with them first and then try to resolve their issue. Doesn't mean you're always going to solve it, but you have to act like, excuse my language, you have to act like you give a damn. You have to show that. You have to be willing to take that extra step if you have to and explain to them what's going on. Because what happens is a lot of times, and that comes with knowledge, and we're not giving enough training on knowledge of your position, of your company, of your industry, of what you have to do, be it tech support, customer service, sales, whatever it is. We're not getting that. We're not getting that training to them. So when you're not doing that, now you leave the customer wondering what's going on. Now they're getting frustrated. Now they're upset. Or like you said, like in a restaurant, personally, maybe it's just I'm older. Unless it's an emergency, your phone shouldn't be on. You shouldn't be looking at your damn phone when you're dealing with a customer's food, especially with food. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people have allergic reactions to things. It may not be that you don't like ketchup. It may be you're allergic to ketchup.
Right,
Now
right,
what happens?
right. So
You know what I mean?
you're right. So this is what I tell people all the time. They say, "Well, how did you learn customer service?" I said, first of all, I had on the job training, but before that, man, we used to go to what we call youth Christian leadership conference,
Right.
and that where they're taught a lot of customer service there. Because when you're dealing with church people, or when you're dealing with the elderly in the church, you have to have a lot of patience, and that sharpens up your customer service skills. So if you don't have any patience, then you're not gonna have good customer service.
At all.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? That's good you brought that up, Jay, because I think that also customer service starts from the home. Like my parents and my aunts, my uncles, my older brother, older sister, different ones, so on and so forth. They taught me how to deal with people. You know what I mean? They taught me how to have that respect and that courtesy and that understanding and manners. You know what I mean? Like even to this day, like if I get a position and there may be a younger gentleman, a younger person than me that's got a higher position than me, I'll still at times address them as yes, sir, you know, yes, ma'am, yes, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am. And they'll look at me or Mr. or Mrs. And I'm like, well, Jason, just call me this. No, there's a respect level there. You're in a higher position than me. You're on that totem pole. I keep that respect so I understand we have those boundaries and have that understanding. You know what I mean? But even like I said, though, like just around the home and being around the environment, we have that understanding. You learn how to treat people. Like you said, being in the church, you learn how to treat people, how to approach people, how to be understanding. Be it at home with your parents, you're going to respect. Being with your elders, you're going to respect to a certain degree. Nowadays, this generation below us, they have absolutely no understanding of communicating with each other. And I think that's the other problem too. That's another thing we should address. Everybody's always in their phones and communicating through social media and through text. There's a lot of the human dynamic interaction is gone. So people don't have that emotional maturity to talk to people and to deal with people. Everything's text, 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 text. So that affects things. I think some of that does come from what happened with COVID. That shut a lot of things off. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a lot. I don't think necessarily the understanding of how important customer service is gone. I think it's the understanding of how to approach it now and how to handle it, the dynamics of it, the way the world is now. You know what I mean? And you need more people that can train that and get that across, and companies that are willing to spend that money on that. And that's why I said, look at Apple stores, look at Chick-fil-A. If you look at the successful companies right now, it's about the relationships they're building with people. You know what I mean? Because people only buy off you if they trust you, if they're comfortable with you. You
Right,
know?
right.
So,
And you know, I would say even in the entertainment business, people need to be taught customer service.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
People need to be taught customer service. Um, you know, when it comes to whether you're a promoter, whether you're a manager, whether you're a publicist, whether you're a content creator, a music curator,
All the way
you
down to an usher at a concert.
right. You got to have customer service skills, and you know the question about people that don't watch their employees. So me myself, when I used to manage call centers, I would watch people. I would watch what they do. I would watch their body language. You know, because tonality on the phone
Everything.
is everything. And so usually a person who don't got good tonality don't have great customer service skills. You know, usually a person don't have a voice that can pick a person up. You know, intrigue them of wanting to know more about the product. You know, they don't have good. If they don't have that, they don't have good customer service
And
skills.
like you
'Cause
said, and the key to with that is, Jay, you know, one of the things I realized too is like, you know, I used to always go by the 5 P's: pitch, pace, punctuation, pause, you know, all of that. And then also I believe in mirroring who you're dealing with. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to mirror them. Like, you know, and I don't want to be stereotypical, but we used to say back in the day, you know, if someone's from the South, you want to talk a little slower. Because if you start sounding like you're in New York, you going like this, like this, like this, going real fast, they think you're trying to get over on them. In New York, you talk to most people up in the Northeast, they want it like this. Give it to me. Get to the point. Get to the point. Get to the point. Get to the point. What are you talking about? Get to the point. Get to the point. Get to the point. You know, Cal out west, it was a little more laid back. So you have to learn how to mirror. And that's just about understanding people. And I'm not saying that's something that's always like that. I'm just saying in general, that's the idea you want to have. And like you said, when I was managing, I always looked at how my reps, be it retail, be it a call center, how they came into work. Because that would tell you something too. because that mood and that vibe not only can affect the people on the phones you're talking to, it could affect the whole floor. It could affect the other coworkers, everything. So we always had this thing: leave it at the door, pick it up on your way back out. And sometimes that's easier said than done too, because we
Right.
are all people.
Well, I don't think most people care about. I think a lot of people in this generation and this era don't really care about the customer service. A lot of
That's what
them,
we were just talking
a,
about.
a
Yep.
lot of them just want to keep it real. A lot of them want to just be who they want to be, and they don't care about the importance of customer service. I was in a Hardee's yesterday, and I hate to say this or whatever, because people may take it the wrong way, but people who understand. So a lot of time when you go into a hood spot, right? And when you go to a hood spot, you ain't telling what you gonna see, what you gonna hear. But I happen to be in a Hardee's where I ain't gonna lie, it was nothing but white kids and white adults and white people in this restaurant, and they was loud and just unprofessional. And the guy, he kept walking around. I'm trying to order my food. He keeps walking off and whatever the case may be. And I'm like, where is the manager at? Where is somebody that can just who can get orders back in what's going on? You got customers out here in the front. You got customers in the drive-through. Where is the order? You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna have my employees just standing around not doing nothing. Y'all gonna be cleaning. Y'all gonna be doing something. If it's that slow where y'all can stand around, somebody going home. You know what
But
I'm
you know
saying, or
what?
whatever.
You know what, Icon? You made a good point about that, because this is my thing about that too. And that's why I said it's on the company to be willing to invest. Because managers such as yourself, managers such as Jacob, managers such as me, the skill sets we have and experience we have, for the salaries they want to pay us to deal with some of this stuff, you're not going to get those quality managers. And then on top of that, these companies are trying to scale back on that, so they don't have enough managers available for the shifts either. You know what I mean? And you have to establish some kind of control when these kids or when these employees first come into the company. This is how it goes. This is how our system is run. This is what's going to happen. This is your job title. This is your job description. This is what you will do. You know what I mean? And then the managers also have to be willing to do what they telling their employees they're willing to do. Like, I remember seeing you when you used to manage stores. You wouldn't tell your employees something that you weren't willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? And
Exactly.
you had to have order too. A lot of these managers, you see them, they in there cutting up with their employees. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are younger because the companies aren't willing to pay for that experience and that expertise and that leadership any longer.
Yeah, because
You
the thing about managing anything, when you manage anything, the one thing your employee have to do for them to respect you, they got to know you're gonna be in the trenches with them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When you need to be in
exactly.
the trenches with them. If you're not willing to lay your sword down and get in there with them and whatever and fight with them, then they not gonna fight for you. They're not gonna fight with you. If they see
And
that you're a
stick up
lazy
for them
manager,
too. And stick up for them too when they are doing right.
exactly. Because I had 3 rules. I'm gonna tell you my 3 rules. My 3 rules was respect the customer, respect me, and at the end of the day, and the only thing I did not like is if you didn't come to work and did a no call, no show. If you did a no call, no show on
Look.
my shift, you couldn't work my shift anymore. I would tell if I wasn't the store manager, if I was the assistant, I would tell the store manager, you can put them on the schedule, but they going home as soon as you bring them in, as soon as you send them in. Well, why? Because I'm like, I don't play that because that's disrespectful. At least pick up the phone and call me. I don't care if you lie to me and tell me why you ain't. Just call me and tell me something. But no, don't just not come and then just come prancing your butt in there the next day and thinking everything cool. Not with me, it ain't.
Because it's not just disrespectful to you, it's also disrespectful to your coworkers. It's also
Mm-hmm.
not fair to nobody. Because what a lot of people don't understand is you have workforce management. And y'all know what that means, workforce management. You're allotted those certain hours and you're setting those hours up based on your schedule, based on your customers, based on your peak hours and different dynamics. You know what I mean? And if one person misses a shift, it can throw the whole ship off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So, and that's just,
Exactly.
I think, And a lot of times, you know, a lot of these kids, people come in, these managers are a little nervous of how to deal with it because the way the society is now and how to attack as far as discipline and leadership. Oh, I can't talk to them this way. I can't say this. I can't do that. You can still handle it with respect and keep order by doing it a certain way. By, like you said, being in the trenches and setting that tone. Like when I was in the call centers, one thing I did for my trainings, be it if it was sales, customer service, and tech support, I got on that phone myself first so they could see I could do it too. So they know when I'm talking, okay, he's showing us what he can do, and he's showing us it works. You feel what I mean? Everybody
And, and,
has.
and I'm gonna say this about the nursing home thing. You know, I used to deliver medication in nursing homes, so I seen how the nurses would treat these patients.
Look,
And that's why I always make the joke with my kids of, but when I get old, you better put me in the basement with a pamper on if you can't
look,
afford
yeah,
to
I'm
put me
staying
in
with
no
somebody.
real
I'm
nursing
staying with
home. You can't put
somebody.
me in one of these country club type nursing homes. Don't put me in one of these
No,
city state run nursing homes because I ain't going. Because if I gotta go there, I'm coming back killing everybody in the house. So I'm saying y'all better do right
it's
by your dad.
horrible. It's horrible, bro. It is horrible.
Yeah,
I seen over in England what they did to my aunt, my grandma, my uncle, some of that, and some of the stuff that goes on, like just over here too. Like it's like, and then the thing is, a lot of these, what's happening with the nursing homes is people who ain't, and not like I said, college ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? School ain't for everybody. Everybody's got different motions, got different moves. But
Mhm.
the CNA courses and the home health aides and stuff is so easy to get, and then the salaries that they get for this. So it's like, okay, I can take a 6-week course, make this kind of money by just sitting there and sweeping up every now and then and wiping somebody's ass. But they don't
hmm
understand the dynamic of it's more than that. It's building a relationship with some of these elderly because they need that. It's understanding them. It's keeping an eye on them because this is somebody's mom. This is somebody's brother. This is somebody's sister. Like, if it was your mother, is that how you're going to treat her at the crib? Some of them might. But that's
yeah,
like me and Jacob
yeah,
was saying earlier, it's all about that upbringing too sometimes. Customer service and all this stuff starts at home. Empathy and understanding people and communicating starts at home. Like, you know, Icon, we always joke about it being Jones men. We have that Jones charm.
hmm
And it's just a natural thing. We didn't learn that from just on our own.
yep,
We got that
yep,
from watching the older men in our family and how they
exactly,
communicate and deal with people.
Right, right, right,
exactly.
right.
You know
So
what I
fellas,
mean?
man,
So,
man, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, man. You know, and we're gonna move on to the next topic dealing with customer service in the education system, and why it's
mm,
so important.
mm, something to think about. Mm.
Shout out to the men that just came home from jail and said no matter what the circumstances is, I'm never going back. Shout out to the men that said I'm tired of neglecting my children. I'm stepping up and being a man for my children, teaching them morals, honor, responsibility. Shout out to the men that say, you know what, I'm tired of sleeping on that couch. I'm tired of using my mother. I'm tired of using that girl. I'm going to step up and be a man for me. Shout out to the men that just graduated from college or going to college. Shout out to the men that graduated from trade school. Shout out to the men that say, yo, I'm just tired of being tired and I need to make a change. Shout out to the men that stayed there, that's raising their children. Shout out to the men that's getting married or want to stay married. Shout out to the men that's taking care of children that's not biologically theirs. Shout out to the men that's trying to figure it out. Shout out to the men because you are a beautiful soul. Shout out to the men that's just being a part of everybody's life to make a change, man. Stop the violence.
Yo,
Yeah.
shout out to the men, bro.
Shout out to the men, all
Yeah,
of them.
yes sir, yes
Now
sir.
we need to get into that too one day. That definition of a high value man,
Right,
because
right.
I'm really getting tired of hearing that term and people don't really truly understand what that is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
We need
mm-hmm.
to get to the gristle of that.
So when you contact the administrative people in the school system, some of them are not the most courtesy people when it comes to the parent of a child that's in the system. Um, I already sent you that you didn't read it, like, or
Yeah.
your child this and that, but talk to me like I'm a person. You know, don't treat my child just like they're a product in Walmart. You know what I mean?
Factory. Like,
You know, so what do you think needs to happen in the school system with the school board and the administrative people and even some of the teachers, how they may talk to children and stuff like that? So why don't people in the education system have um, have customer service skills? Now, I'm gonna say this one more time. Why don't people? Why doesn't people in the education system have customer service skills? Because technically, if your child go to that school, then they owe you that customer service, that compassionate, that understanding, because this is your child, and they owe you the right to hear you speak when it comes to your child or your grandchild, your niece or your nephew, whatever you may have it. They owe you that right to speak. You know, when it comes to understanding what's going on in the school system and understanding why your child might be having a difficult time, and that's also a part of customer service.
I think some part of that, Jay, if you don't mind me going on this one, I kind of start off with is
Oh,
like, for
go ahead.
one, I think the whole education system needs to be restructured to begin with anyway, for one. Two, I don't think that these teachers, these counselors, these administrators get paid what they deserve. Because the fact of the matter is, we wouldn't have doctors, we wouldn't have lawyers, we wouldn't have engineers. We wouldn't have anything we have without these teachers and without these administrators getting to these students. And I remember back in the day, remember they had that motto, "No child left behind." That's done went out the window. They just trying to push. They went from "no child left behind." We just trying to push them through and get them out of here. We don't want to deal with them no more. You know what I mean? And I also think too, again, like you said, yeah, as a parent, if you care, yes, you deserve to have that conversation. But a lot of these parents don't care either no more. They're just pushing it on the system, expecting the system to do that, and do their work. You know, it takes a village to get a child in education. And then we need to also understand that some children are built for higher learning. Some may need to look into a trade. Like you look at other countries, by the time they hit 13 and 14, it's more looking at what trade are they going to get into? What profession are they going to get into? What are
Hmm.
their interests? And we're going to direct them towards that direction. Like, look, you're not going to be a doctor. You're not going to Oxford. But we see you got an aptitude for mechanics. We're going to put you over here and get you focused on becoming an auto mechanic, so on and so forth. Or your design, we can tell you're ready for the military. We're going to start putting you through an ROTC military training type of academy. You know what I mean? And having those dynamics. And then the problem comes into play too, because it's based off the government system. So a lot of these administrators and teachers feel, well, we're getting paid by the government. Your kid is getting a free education, those taxpayer dollars in a sense. So they don't care. And then they're getting burnt out too. Because a lot of times, not all parents, but some parents, they try to reach out. The parents don't try to do their part. The kids don't care. They run them amok. You can only do so much with them in the classrooms. You can only discipline them so much. You can only do so much to focus on one child because you have too many kids in the class at a time to begin with. So that's overwhelming. The curriculum isn't conducive to learning for certain children. So some do get left behind. You have to try to find that balance. There's a lot going on there. And I think it comes down to that communication between the board, which the board don't care. They look at more of how can they get more funds. And some of them, a lot of them to line their pockets, I hate to say it. It's not even about education no more, which is sad. You
Hmm.
know, I think we really need to get more people in that care, more empathy, more understanding. And there needs to be a whole restructuring of this. Because
Okay.
I think that's where it really starts in our country as a whole, is
Right.
education.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
right. Icon.
Well, I'm closely connected to the swirl of school teachers or whatever. Been living one with one for 25 years. So so basically, I look at it from a different eye than a lot of people do. If you don't, if you, I see both. I see it from both sides, especially even being a children's counselor for a couple of years. So I look at it from two different perspectives. One, if you look at it on the customer service side or the teacher side, I think a lot of them go into it not really maybe start off maybe loving it or thinking
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna have a love for it, and they
Mm-hmm.
eventually don't have a love. for they lose their love somewhere along the line. And once they lose that love, think about it is if you don't love to teach and you don't love to kind of teach a child and see them grow, then eventually it's show where you treat the kid. It's going to showing your performance as a teacher.
Yes.
It's going to show.
Yes.
It's going to show when you eventually snap and say something
Yep.
to a parent, because the parent come in and a lot of times parents do sometimes as parents to take kids in situations where they shouldn't. And then on top, then when the kids see that, oh, I can go in and I can act crazy with
Talk
Miss
to them any way I
Jones
want to too
because,
now. Yep.
because at the end of the day, my mom is gonna come in, show up, and show out, and she's not gonna hold herself accountable or the child accountable
Exactly.
when her
Yes.
child is failing. So I think a lot of it comes with that, and then like, because think about it, is me and Trilla used to be very big advocates about showing up for PTA meetings. All the kids, what the kids was doing. I remember the football team. Football team was terrible. I ain't gonna lie. They were like the bad news bears. They was terrible. But at the end of the day, your parents still. How was it more band members at the game than it is parents at the game watching their kids play? This is how bad it was. And I'm just like, this don't even make no dog. I know a lot of times these parents got to work and do other stuff, but come on now, your kids got one game a week. You can't show up for one game all year long. I could see maybe, you know what I'm saying, you miss a game here and there, but y'all never show up. You know what I'm saying? So it was just one of those things where I just feel like at the end of the day, it's like the love that you would have. You know certain teachers that you had that really loved and cared about you. They're the ones that stayed on your ass. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
And
at the
that's what
end,
I
by the
mean.
end of the
Yeah.
year,
That
in
communication
the
was key.
huh?
Well, it's like you said, that passion, that communication. Like, Dusty, our cousin.
Mm-hmm.
She has a love for education. She has a love for it. You can see it, and she does everything she do. But I got a cousin Phil, his wife. She's been teaching for 20+ years, and she's getting to the point ready to retire because she knows she's starting to lose that passion for it, and it's frustrating and it's stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the parents don't communicate. Like when I was raising those four, my stepkids, I'd be at the teachers meeting. I'd be trying to find out what's going on, what's really happening. But I also knew
Mm-hmm.
them kids too, and their personalities too. You know your kids. You know how they gonna act. You know what they gonna do in certain situations. And then, like you said, some of these parents don't got no respect for the teachers either. You putting
Exactly.
off on the kid on the teachers, and then the teacher like, why send them homework? Why ain't you helping with the homework? Why ain't you
Mm-hmm.
staying on them
Well, I'm
about
gonna say
that?
this. I'm gonna say this.
I think it's a communication issue. There's a disconnect.
I think that parents should have more respect for teachers, and I'm gonna tell you why. Teachers are mainly with the kids more than parents are.
Exactly.
You know
Good
what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
point.
And,
Exactly.
and so a teacher is not just a teacher. A teacher
Mm-mm.
is a pastor, a mentor, a friend. Because a lot of kids that love their teachers, they may even tell their teachers something that they don't feel like they can talk to their parent because their parents is always working, always gone. Grandma got them, and it's like the kid may want to do something, but they never really see their parents because they work so much, and they may not even know how to ask them because they don't think they'll understand. Like
Mm-hmm.
so. I think that connection between the parent and the teacher it needs to go hand in hand. They actually need to have a personal relationship. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They they need to understand. And when the curriculum change, just don't stay at home in the backpack with the kids. You need to call these teachers on the phone. The curriculum is changing. Here's why. This what we'll be doing for the next semester, and I'm gonna send you an itinerary so you understand. But if you don't understand, you can always call me, and I can break it down. We can go over it together. Those are the things that I think that teachers and parents need to get together on.
But see, and I remember that when I was coming up too, Jay. Like you said, like we were before the summer, we go to our we have our class schedule. We go sit down with the teacher, and the
Right.
teacher would say, "Look, here's what we're doing this year. These are the steps we're taking. Here's my number, not just my number at the school. Here's my home number if you need to call me. You know what I mean? Like my parents had had my teachers by first name, had their phone numbers by the phone at the house. So if they needed to call them or I needed to call them for a question, look, we don't understand this. Call your teacher. You know what I mean? Or you also got numbers of classmates who are like, if you were a C student, D student, you could find out what kid had straight A's that could help you, or there'd be study groups or different things that they had the opportunity to do. You know, and a lot of these teachers sometimes like you know that disconnect of not being able to communicate, like it's through emails. You know, they're not picking up the phone and talking to these parents. And then some of the stuff, like when they changed the whole way math was done at one point in time. Y'all remember that? When they changed how you do math and multiplication and division and all this stuff. And I remember sitting down and I'm trying to help, and I'm like, okay, why didn't the teacher tell us nothing about this? We didn't know nothing about this whole thing. Oh, okay, you didn't change up how math is done? You know what I mean? Like, that's something that should have been communicated with us. We should all sat down. You know, so because how are the parents going to help these kids if they don't even know? And then some parents, let's be honest, they don't even have GEDs. So you have to figure out a way to help these kids whose parents can't even help them. Like my dad told me flat out when I hit high school, when I was taking high-level AP math and sciences, look, son, I can't help you no more. It's on you. You're going to have to either figure it out from your friends. You got to figure it out on your own. You got to talk to your teacher. We need to find out if you can get a tutor after school if you can't figure it out. But now you're on a level that I'm not at anymore.
Yeah, because when you on advanced AP classes, there's some things in there, especially if your parents been out of school, 25, 30 years and stuff like that, because the school curriculum changed so much, and the way they do, even with math, and the way they even do math, it was so crazy to me because I used to hear parents, they used to just scratch their head on, man, like, how are they doing math like this? This is not the way we was taught. And so, but they finally got it. But I know that they had a parent, uh, 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 uh like a parent social setting, where all the parents, while all the parents got together. One of my friends was telling me about it. She said all the parents got together and went over this math and see who understood it. And the person, the couple people that understood it the most, taught the other parents.
Taught the other parents, right?
That's
You know what I
what I
mean?
was gonna
That's
say.
where
That's
that
what I was gonna say. That's
communication
probably what they need to
communication
do
comes in.
nowadays. That's what they need to do nowadays. They probably need to. They need to come up with a program in schools where after school, like the parents that can come to school with their parents with their kids, like doing tutoring classes, maybe like once or twice a week. So whether it's math or English or science or whatever, just so they can kind of understand. So when their kids come home, they can actually help their kids, especially ones that struggle in certain subjects. So if it's a parent that is actually open to it and available to do it, then have them come up to the school and learn some of this stuff or whatever, instead of just telling their kid, "Well, I can't help you. I ain't been to school in 30
But
years."
you know what the
You know
problem is
what I'm
with
saying?
that, though? Where that comes in the issue, some of these parents have a lot of pride when it comes to that. And they don't want to
Yeah.
admit they don't understand something and they're on a certain level education wise. You know what I mean? Which is sad too, because you have to be willing, okay, this ain't about you, this is about your child. You know what I mean? But some don't. But see, my thing with that is a good idea, like you said, even having that, and even these parents who don't have GEDs and different things. Look, come get this tutoring with your kids, especially the high school kids. You're going to learn. They're going to learn. It's going to create a bond between you and your child coming closer. And now maybe you may even go out and get your GED or take the next step in higher learning. You know what I mean? Once you understand certain things, you realize you can do it too. You know? But I don't know, like, what do you tell some of these parents who have that pride issue and aren't willing to be humble to do that? Because some of these parents are like, man, I ain't got time for that. I'm working. Or I ain't got time to be doing this. I ain't going in here with no kids to learn nothing like this, that, and third. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can't change that. I'm just going by the parents, like that want to be involved. The same
Oh
thing with
yeah.
PTA meetings. You go to a PTA meeting and you have 15 parents out of 200 kids there or whatever. So it's just one of those
Yeah,
things
that's
where it just
true.
depends on how involved you want to be in your kids' education. But if you at
Yeah,
least if you can
facts.
present it and see what happens, and whoever shows up shows up, whoever don't. But you're not gonna change a person, especially somebody older. Like if they got old parents, you know what I'm saying? They definitely probably not gonna do it. But if you got some of these kids when their parents is like 15, 16 years older than them, they might be willing to go do it. You know what I mean? So, they're not that far removed from school as somebody that's 50 years old with a kid that's 15. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
you're right.
maybe
Just let me play devil advocate again with that though, because like that's where it comes in. Where I think where you're talking about the actual board of education and the directors and this too, because then they start looking at it. Well, if there's only say 5 to 10% of the parents coming, these teachers are doing overtime to stay after for these sessions. We got to keep the school open for these sessions. We got to make sure it makes sense with the books and the money and the finances. Now they're looking at like, well, this ain't
that's
gonna work.
the thing. You don't have to get the teachers to do it. You get the kids that need extra credit that's good at a subject. They'll be the tutor. They'll be the ones tutoring the classes or
Okay.
whatever. You don't have the teachers do it. You get the
Okay.
students that's looking for extra credit and needing college credits or whatever. You have them do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's always
Okay.
Now,
ways
see,
around it.
another good idea with that is you got these college students that are trying to become teachers, teachers assistants. You could have them do it.
That
Exactly.
You see what I
that
mean?
too.
And
Stuff like
you
that.
don't even got to spend no money on it. You don't got to spend
And,
you ain't got to waste no
no,
money on it. If you get if you get the kids that's trying to go to college, they'll be willing to do it because they need those credits. You know what I mean, or whatever. You know what I mean? Or get the kids that's trying to be teachers. It's like an
that's what
internship.
I was saying.
All
Yeah,
these kids that's trying to be teachers when they go to college, have them do it. You know what I mean? So it's like a high school internship type of deal
that's what I was
almost.
saying. Like they used to have the teachers' aides when we used to back in the day, where the college students would come back to school and they would help the teachers. You could have them people like that. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Intriguing dialogue. We're gonna take another quick commercial break, and we'll be right back momentarily.
You know, hip hop changing from positive to negative was not a consequence of history. It was not a circumstance of history. It was nothing that just happened on its own. It had nothing to do with the changing of the times. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that there are people in this particular society who wants to see us exactly where we are. And we cannot let that point elude us. These are the facts. How do we know? 1967, Kerner Commission report on urban disorder. When black people said, yo, we're tired of this system. You know what I mean? This system is oppressing us. So we rebelled against the system. We burned things. We said, yo, we had enough. He did his little report on what caused these riots. He said, what caused these riots? He said it was young children who started these riots, and what was motivating them was a high self-esteem and an enhanced racial pride. He said the majority of the rioters were high school dropouts, but they had a higher political orientation than their peers who did not drop out. And they saw the system as their enemy, so they attacked it in the right circumstance. So,
All right, man. Shout out to my man, Wise Intelligent from the Poor Righteous Teachers, man. Very old school group I used to listen to when I was growing up, man. And he goes around schools now talking about the racial injustice doing for the education system, also the racial injustice when it comes to the genre of hip hop music and why it's become so demonic and so diluted, and why we don't hear anything that's righteous and positive in hip hop right now. So shout out to him.
Most deaf.
Yeah. So, um, I would say we got some people tapping in. Shout out to my man Johnny O.C. Hopkins, Miss Monet Hicks, and you know, Miss Miss Smackdown in Delaware, which is she's a radio host, podcaster, promoter, and you know, she says it's not enough people majoring in education anymore, which is true.
That's
Which
very
is
true.
which is true.
But I think a
So
lot of that comes from education. You got to have that passion for it because it ain't making money. You ain't making money in it. The salaries what these teachers get, they don't get paid what they deserve. So, like Icon said, you got to have that passion for it, and you truly got to have that passion for education as a whole. Anyway, when you're doing it, like that's something you got to want to do. And then everybody ain't built to teach either. Let's just be real about it.
And then too, you gotta look too in Atlanta, like in Georgia, you don't even
Yeah.
have to go to school to be a substitute no more. You know what I'm saying? You could be a substitute
They
teacher
got that
off
in
the
Florida.
streets, and I was like, well, what do a substitute do when they're teaching out there? Oh, they just hand out homework and make sure the kids doing their work. So if a teacher is out or whatever, so that means though you basically sending that kid to school and they ain't learning nothing all day. If you got a substitute, especially on a certain level where they ain't
Yeah.
switching classes. So I'm
You
just
know,
like,
Icon boy,
what?
you crazy. He said, Icon said, boy, they ain't learning nothing all day.
They learning how to cut up.
Yeah,
Man,
you know how it is with a substitute. Substitute, you ain't acting right with no substitute. You know what I'm saying? You in there trying to substitute all day. You acting up, you talking, you doing all kind of. Because think about it. When you see now online, you watch Instagram or you watch TikTok, and the teacher get into a fight. Who was it a lot of times getting in a fight with the kids? The substitute. You
Substitute.
know what I'm saying? When they like, I don't care about this job, no way. That's why I whooped that little Johnny ass. You know what I'm saying? Or little Teresa, she done talk back to
Yeah,
me
this just
or
a
what
little
got up in my
part-time job to
face.
make me some extra money. I ain't worried
mm-mm.
about this.
So, fellas, Miss Monique Hicks says the ones the teachers now are very quick to give up on the kids, and true. And she
So
added,
true. So true.
as well, the subs. They don't have not one degree at all.
Yeah. A
So
lot
you,
of them don't. Like Florida, I remember years ago when I was doing custom brokers, I worked with this dude that wanted to be a teacher or whatever. And he hadn't even started going to college yet. And he was going, and finally he got in. So he was excited talking to me. Then he was like, he had I think it was his cousin or someone that was like a superintendent that worked for education. He was like, Jay, he goes, I'm doing all this. I come to find out I don't even need my degree to be a substitute anymore.
Mm-mm.
All I need is to get a certification and I could be a substitute teacher. He goes, meanwhile, I've been trying to
Exactly.
get into college, get my degree to do this, that, and the third. He goes, I could have just did that. And I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, but then is that fair to the kids? Because a lot of these substitutes that are like that, we know what communities they're going to.
Mm,
It's not the same substitute levels that are going to the private schools. They're going to certain
no,
exactly.
other community
no.
schools, to the A schools, so to speak. Let's be real about it. Let's talk about that too now.
You
You
right,
know what I
you
mean?
right, you right.
And then
But
COVID, I know, affected a lot of as far as the teachers and the staffing that they have in these schools. I know up in Connecticut, a lot of the teachers were like, we ain't coming back. I'm not dealing with this. You know
yeah,
what I
Well,
mean? And
I know in Idaho, do you know in certain parts of Idaho, they only go to school 4 days a week. They only
because they
go to
don't have
school
enough
Monday through.
teachers.
Well, I just think that maybe they probably just figure out we didn't want to burn these kids out either. So they go to school
That's
Monday through
true.
Thursday.
hold up, I can hold
But
back,
come
hold back,
on,
hold
though. You
back.
got
Come,
Japan
come,
going 6 days a week.
come on, man.
Hey,
I can come on, man.
I'm just saying this
What?
in the white schools. This in the white
So,
schools. So if the
so,
white schools are doing it, then they must, they got better books, they got better
Okay, but
situations.
listen to what you're
These are the
saying, though.
white schools
That
now.
means they're getting more into that time in that 4 days than we're getting in 5 because of
And
what
well,
the
whatever
benefits
they
they have.
doing is probably helping the kids. It might be a better idea instead of because you got to think you're going to school for 13 years. If I'm going to school Monday through Thursday, maybe it's better you ain't gonna burn me out by the time I get to the ninth grade. You know what I'm saying?
hold up now, Icon. Man, have we just came to the world where we give these kids such a pass all the time, man? We ain't get no pass like that.
Bruh, but you gotta think we're in a different era where everything is about mental health this and mental health that. So they doing everything they can to try to help with this mental
Hold,
health
hold, hold,
stuff
Okay, well,
Icon.
let's
and to
talk
be
about this
compassionate
then.
about mental health.
Hold on, Jake, before you go with that, because he brought up the mental health thing, he's saying giving them a pass. Well, then if that's the case, what we need to do is, since we are in a new era, let's take it and look at these kids and look at what they are for what they are and put them on educational tracks that's going to benefit them then, if you're going to do it that way.
But
If you're going to cut
but
it to
see, they
4
don't get
days, then
the
you put
holiday.
it in that
They don't get the
direction, those
other
curriculum.
holidays off though, Jay. That's the thing. They don't get holidays off. They don't get like Abraham Lincoln Day off, and they don't get those other the
Right, but
Monday
that's what I'm
holidays off.
telling you. In
You feel what
Idaho,
I'm saying?
I'm guaranteeing you, the books they're studying from, the teachers they have, the structures of the class, the curriculum and everything, it's probably a lot different if we look at it than say if you go to a Georgia school or you go to a Florida
It
school
probably
in those
is. Yeah,
communities.
for sure, for
Guarantee
sure.
you it is.
So,
But what I'm saying is,
so
what I'm
my
saying is
question is,
this.
Will either you move to Idaho and become a teacher? I just want to know.
Nah,
Well, for some positions, I
what
wouldn't
I'm
go to
saying
Idaho.
is,
I'm just saying. For
this what I'm
different,
saying though.
that's a
This
whole
is what I'm
different
saying
ball of
real
wax
quick.
now, Jay. You
Listen to
know.
what I'm saying real quick. Sometimes we and sometimes as black people, we could be our own detriment. We
Yeah.
sometimes want to recreate the wheel and want to do something to go against the grain or go against
Mm-hmm.
something. If white people been doing something educational
Stick
wise
to it.
for
Stick to what
years
works.
and it's
Stick to what
benefiting them,
works.
why not at least say, okay, this might be a good idea?
But I'm not
You
saying
know what
not
I mean?
look into it. But what I'm saying is, I guarantee what they're doing there is not what's going on in our schools right now. Because even like in Connecticut, I literally watched with my ex and her kids, the teachers. There'd be times they'd have to give these kids days off because they didn't have enough teachers.
That's
Out the
true.
blue, that we're giving them a day
That's
off
true in
today.
a lot of places. In a lot of
Pulling up
places
to the
it's like that.
school, we're not
Because
having
think
school
about
day.
it. You still doing 40 hours in a week. So think about it. If you work a job, if a job is built for you work 40 hours in a week. If you go to school from basically Monday through Thursday, what is that? A 40-hour week. You really think about it. Kids go to school overtime. If they go Monday
Hold
through
on, hold on,
Friday,
hold
they in there
on,
like
hold on,
50
hold on,
hours a week.
hold on, Icon. How many hours a day they going to school for?
They going to school like 8 hours a day, right?
What's 8 times 4?
Oh, you're right. But I'm just saying.
see,
I'm just saying. At the end
that's
of the
what I
day,
mean right there. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what
Well,
I'm talking about
well,
right
but you got to think though. Well. Now, if you got to break it down like that though, now, because you got to get up mad early, then you
there.
leave
Man,
late,
look, oh, come on,
then you start. Then
Icon. I'm not letting you give these kids no pass
if you
like
start
this
adding
now.
in sports,
You
you
know,
start
see,
adding the
and
other
that's
stuff.
exactly why I hate to
But
say it. That's why we falling
so
behind
what?
Japan. That's why
Why
we
are you
falling
going to school
behind
5 days
India.
a week?
That's why we falling
Why you
behind
going
these
to school
countries.
5 days a week in kindergarten?
Why
Ed,
you go to work 5 days a week?
Icon, it's building
Exactly. That's what I'm
patterns.
saying. That's what I'm
But
saying. If you got to go to work 5 days a week for a job, why you got to go? Why you going 5 days a week when you in third grade? Why you going to?
Man,
Why you going to school that much?
I can't. We don't. I can't listen, man.
Huh?
We gonna give these kids a pass.
What,
They're
what,
not
what I'm
gonna.
saying is, I'm not saying give them a pass.
Ho. Now I'm gonna say this: they're not gonna have no thick skin. They gonna be emotional.
No,
They tail gonna be between their legs all the time.
no,
Dad,
no, no,
but
dad,
they
no,
dad,
no.
just
already
go
Okay,
home.
emotional. That's the point. I think maybe they already
No,
at this point
think,
now.
think about it from like this. Think about it from like this. How many kids do we have that's failing over the last 40, 50 years that fail out of school before they make it to the 12th grade? Drop out, or just fail. At some point, we got to do something different. You
But that's what I'm saying with that.
know, sanity. Doing this
But that's what I'm saying with that. Yeah, we say
it's
something
going to work.
different. It don't mean put them in school less. It's finding the right track for each of these kids. Finding what's going to work for them, what sparks their interest, what they're good at, and have them focus on that trade and build that up. You know what I mean? Like, I remember seeing Dang Dash talk about it. He was like, you know what? We're not teaching what we need to teach in these schools. We're not teaching these kids what they really need to know. We're teaching them how to be employees. We're not teaching them how to be business owners. We're not teaching them how to be
Yeah,
engineers.
you're
We're not
right.
teaching them how to
You're
be
right. That's
doctors.
definitely
We're
when you
teaching them
start
how to
doing
be
that.
employees, and that's it, really. We're not teaching them to
Yeah,
dream. We're not
yeah,
teaching
for
them to
sure.
find their passions. You know what I mean? So taking the hours
But
back, I mean, you could, but at the same time, how's that helping develop their drive and their passion and to put
but
hard work in?
I don't think I think the kids that already have it built into them is gonna be that way. Most of these kids, you going to school 5 days a week. Think about the quick thing. Don't even think about the kids that's they're gonna automatically excel from kindergarten. Think about those kids that by the time they get to the ninth and 10th grade, they don't want to do it anymore.
That's
So
what I
we
mean.
gotta
That's where
start
you
focusing
find the
on those
trade of something they're
kids.
going to be good at, and you hone that
That's the
on them.
parents' fault.
Because idle minds, bruh, you leave them sitting around, then you're going to have even more of them out here in these streets and doing other things. So figure out something that's good for them, be it business, be it music, be it mechanics, be it electronics, be it whatever it is. Get them focused on that. By the time you in middle school, you can kind of see what kids, okay, this kid's going to college. This kid is not, he just ain't built for that. This kid really likes music and can write. You know what? Let's get him around studio engineers. Let's get him some internships and some
Okay,
local
look at it
studios.
from this standpoint. Then look at it from this standpoint, Jay. How many days when you go to a major college? How many days a week do them kids actually go to class?
Yeah.
Some of them got class 3 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week. They don't go 5 days a week in college.
But
Some of them don't.
that's by
You're
choice
right.
too, though. That's by choice too. Depends on
No, it's
what
not. No,
curriculum you're
it's not. It's
on,
the way your
what track
curriculum
you're.
is set
But
up.
then you
It's
gotta
the way your
understand too
classes
with
are set
college.
up.
Okay, but here's the thing about college. Each time you take a step up in education, the level of learning that you're processing and the information you're taking in is on a different level. So you have to have those breaks between class because you're using that time for study time. You're not just sitting around with it. If you're really
But
applying
what I'm
yourself, you're
saying is
studying.
though,
You're still putting those hours in. You see what I mean? You're still
but
putting
what I'm
those, like
saying
I
is,
went to school for
a
biomedical
kid.
engineer, nuclear engineer.
Okay,
You're still putting those hours in somehow.
you might be putting it in as far as studying, but what I'm saying is sitting in a classroom 8 hours a
Oh
day.
no, I
They
agree
don't
with
do
you on
that
that.
in college. They go to
I agree
they
with
go
you
to
on
a
that.
classroom 2-3 hours a day. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
but
And some
Ed,
of them only.
what I'm saying is you can't compare a third grader's mind to a college level mind.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the mind. I'm talking about being burnt out because you're doing the same thing for a
But
long.
that's
You
why
got
you
13
find those
years. That's a
different
long
tracks.
time for school. That's
But
a
that's what I'm saying.
long
That's why
time.
you find those different tracks for different kids. Like all these kids shouldn't be on the same track, is what I'm saying. You find different tracks for different kids because that's going to keep their interest. Think about it. When I was doing music, I could sit and do music all day because that's what I love. So I could put 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours. When you find a kid who loves basketball, they can get on that court and hoop all day. When you find a kid who likes engineering electronics, they can sit there and play with a computer, play with electronics all day. So find a track for each of these kids because that's what we need right now. We don't need any more employees.
I mean,
Well,
I get what you're saying. I just think that the idea of those kids, when I heard it, I said, well, maybe we need to try something different because
Oh, I agree
whatever
with
we've
that.
been
We got to
doing
try
does not
something new.
work.
We got to try something new.
Most of these
so
inner city schools have the highest dropout rate, fail rate in America. And I don't know what China. I guarantee you, China. We need to start looking at what China and Japan and some of these
I
other
can tell
schools
you
are
what they
doing.
do,
They do
Icon.
6 days a week.
They go to school year round,
All
brother.
year round. 6 days a week, bro. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. That damn show ain't gonna work in America. Not those 6 days. That damn thing, bro. We you thought you 6 days a week. That ain't gonna work.
You broke up, bro.
I'm
Say it
talking
again.
about maybe like you said, huh?
You broke up. Say it again.
We definitely got to find a way, like you said, hone on these kids, what they like to do, or whatever in school, or whatever like they do in life, and try to figure out life skills and life and jobs that they can make them become bosses and not just employees. Because what we doing in America is not working. It's not. You know what I'm saying? We can
It's
try
not
to
at all. Because
fake
it's
it,
crazy. Like
fake
I
it,
saw
man,
a
like we
stat one
are,
time.
but
I
it's
saw a
not
stat that was
working.
talking about it. And a lot of the in the Asian countries, Oriental countries, a lot of those kids, they asked those kids like Japan what they wanted to be. They were talking about doctors, engineers, so on and so forth. Then they started asking American kids, it was social media influencers, athletes.
Hell no.
You see what I mean?
Hell no.
Somewhere, somehow, just the dynamic, and like you said, some of it could be from being burnt out. Some of these kids get in these schools and they get frustrated when they see these kids doing good, and then we're grading them on this A through F scale. So you're already making them feel a certain type of way.
I'm gonna say this, Jay. I'm gonna say this.
A lot of aspects, yo. There's so many dynamics to this.
If these kids' parents was hard on them like our parents were hard on us, man, we wouldn't be having this conversation at all. At all, man. These we got some
some
soft
kids just
ass,
aren't
punk
built
ass
for it,
parents,
though,
man.
Jake. But some kids, you know that some kids just aren't built for being in school. They're not built for this.
But that comes from the parent not. Jason, we could read before we went to school.
I agree. I agree with that. I was doing multiplication tables before I was in the first grade. I agree.
Like they didn't have to teach us because my granny already taught us how to read the Bible, so we were so advanced in school, man. It didn't matter.
And that's true too. That's true.
You know what I mean? And so, go ahead, Akon.
I'm gonna say this: the problem that I see with young parents that do try to be hard on their kids it's not so much the ones that are hard. It's the way they talk to the kids. When you
Yes.
talk to a 5-year-old, you can't say shut your stupid A down. Get your mother effing A over here. If all you're gonna do is curse at them and talk to them just straight reckless in public and everywhere else, then most
Well,
of those kids,
well,
like you're not gonna get nothing out of them.
well,
I'm telling
I don't know nothing about that because all my dad said, I'm gonna tell you one time, sit on that couch and don't you
Only have to
move.
tell you once.
And don't
But
you
you talking
move.
about a dad. You talking about a dad. Most of the kids, I'm talking about like a single mom. Because think about it, I'm the same with my granddaughter. I don't have to, as I got told Tay, I said, you don't have to yell at her because you're a man. When you talking to her, I said, with women, it's different. They go on for. Man,
You breaking up bad,
when a
bro.
father is firm with his daughter, huh?
So you was breaking up bad. Say it
You
again.
breaking it real bad.
Oh, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Can y'all hear
Go
me now?
repeat yourself.
No, I was saying it's different with a man with a especially with little girls. Because if I say something to my granddaughter and I say you better sit your down, she gonna sit down. She gonna well, Papa ain't playing. But if Trilla or India say something, she might try them more. So when you talk about a single mom, but the only thing I don't like what I see with single moms in public is the way they go about talking to their kids because they belittle them to no end. And I'm like, if that's all your kid is hearing, then no wonder why they so bad in school and punching on other kids and cursing at the teachers. Because that's all you do all day long is curse at them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see,
So
I
it's
see
it's, it's
both ends of that spectrum. I see either they're coddling them too much in public and letting the kids talk to them any kind of way, or they're on the other end, like you said, they cussing at these kids and they belittling these kids in public. So I think there's got to be some kind of balance with that too. But I think again that starts at home from the beginning. That tonality,
Mhm.
like like certain moms, that mom gives that look, you better shut your ass up.
Listen,
Yeah.
man.
Off rip, you know what I mean? And that comes from that home upbringing, but a lot of that has been lost in our communities too now,
Yeah, because
and I still
society
think
don't
it
let it.
matters.
But let me tell you something about Con. My grand used to take us in that store. Listen, baby, we're gonna go in this store. I'm gonna get what I need. Don't ask for nothing. I ain't got it.
Don't
You got
touch
stuff
nothing.
at home and don't touch nothing because you already know. If you touch something when we go home, it's going all the way down.
Yeah, but
So
that society not gonna let you be like that no more. You know that. The government,
man,
the government, the government ain't gonna let you be like that no more.
Look, the game changed when they allowed kids to divorce their parents. I never forget that.
man,
When they started doing that stuff.
all I'm saying, man, you got to be a parent. You can't be your child's friend, man.
No.
Listen, man. Listen, man. Like it's a way to be a parent. You know what I'm saying? And it's a way to have an understanding with your child. You
Who
ain't got
wrote
to
the
yell
book?
at them. You ain't got to yell at them.
Who
You ain't
wrote
got
the
to
book?
belittle
Who
them.
wrote the book? Gentle parenting. That's who I want to meet. I want to
Huh?
slap the shit out of the person who wrote the book. Gentle parenting. Whoever
Oh,
wrote that book
I
need
don't
to
know.
get the hell slapped out of them.
Ain't such thing. Ain't such thing, bro. Ain't such thing.
Yeah, whoever wrote that book,
Look, I
they
used
don't
to
got
tell
no key.
kids flat out, I'm not here to be your friend. You ain't got to like me. My job is
Mm-mm.
make sure that you can function in society and take care of yourself and be a good person all in all. You ain't got to like me. I'm not your friend. I
Man,
can't be your
Mm-mm.
like my pops used to say. I can't be your friend and pay your bills
that's right. That's
and
right.
take
That's right.
care of you. Like
Well,
that's not my friends. They come over and hang out and then they go home.
That's why I couldn't be no
that's
teacher.
right.
I get locked up the first day. I couldn't be no teacher. I get locked up the first day.
With
Yeah,
these
man.
kids these days, yeah, I done swung. I done
Not
about
really.
five
Yeah.
I
some
feel
of
you, man. But
I'm not
fellas,
nice.
we is out of time, man. So I do want to thank y'all for coming on here and chopping it up in great dialogue, man. And this is definitely a part two conversation. But I'm gonna invite some sisters on here.
Oh yeah.
So we can get into what they have been through as parents and stuff like that, and what they think, what needs to be done, because the kids can give you a nervous breakdown.
Yes.
They can have you
It's hard
call.
for them.
Kids can give you PTSD. You better believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So So man, but that's a whole nother conversation for another episode.
I'll sign up for that conversation too.
So I want to thank y'all for coming on, man. I appreciate it, man. And peace, love, and hair grease. We out of here.
Peace and blessings.
All right, no doubt.